Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Space Muffin, and this is the Void Playground. And we have a very special podcast for you guys today. I am joined by Plugged. Plugged, can you go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody?
Hello, my name is Plugged. I am one of the Void Inquisitors of the Void. I run the Void 2, and I'm one of the content creators for the Void Gaming.
Excellent. And then we're also joined by Myreful. Myreful, can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I am the other Inquisitor in the Void right now, and I work in the Void 2 with Plugged. I am the battery squad manager, so I take care of pretty much everything squads related.
Excellent. And then, of course, we have JD. JD, how are you doing today, man?
What's up, everybody? I am doing well. How's everybody else doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Jumpman, how are you doing?
Oh, good. Plenty good.
Uh, Jumpman at this point, like Jumpman is legendary at this point. Like
Am I?
he's mythic. Yes, like he's on a separate like level. So listen,
You're the
guys.
only one that tells me that, so I guess I'll take your word for it.
That's good. That's I see, and this is what we like to hear at the Void Playground. So, a real quick plugged. Let's get started into the nitty gritty. Plugged. When did you first join the Void?
I joined in January the 3rd back in like 2022, I believe.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And how many members did we have at that point?
I think only around 13,000 members.
Only 13,000. So,
Yeah.
fun fact, like, oh wow, oh my goodness, the story of the Void. So plugged, like, okay, how did you get to Inquisitor? How did you get to where you are today? Like, tell us that story.
It's a interesting story. I remember joining as wanting to become an editor for the team, and then I worked my way up to become one of the staff members of the Void, and then from there also getting a part of squads and being a coach. And all of a sudden, I provide enough value that hey, we're seeing you as an Inquisitor potential, and then once you know it, now I'm an Inquisitor today.
Wow, that's the Spark Notes version. Myreful, what about you? How did you get started in the Void?
So I originally joined as a Radiant Valorant player. I originally wanted to go into like the competitive scene because I had already been in a lot of previous orgs and even used to own one myself. So I knew a lot about the higher end competitive scene of things. And by the time that I pretty much applied to be a squad member, I was already being asked to be a squad leader. So I ended up going into the squad leader system and just kind of worked my way up from there.
Wow. Wow, and let me ask you this question. I'll ask JD and Jumpman this, but what kind of keeps you guys like? What keeps you guys staying? Like, how do you guys? We've seen people come and go throughout the years. Like, what makes you guys want to stay in the organization? We'll start with plugged.
One of the main reasons on why I stay in the organization is because of the people who have allowed me to grow and as well as move forward with the issues I've had in the past and allow me to improve upon them. And I think that, my main reason of being here is just, having the constant ability to improve upon myself every single day.
Wow, wow. Myreful, what about you?
Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, I kind of once I got into the squad systems, I started up like the coaching area for the Void 2. So I was more along the lines of wanting to see people grow as a player, grow as a leader, and I'd say I'm doing a pretty good job at seeing all of our squad leaders grow and our players grow at the rate that they are.
Excellent. So, for those of you guys who don't know, yeah, Plugged and Myreful have pioneered the squad system. The squad system goes back even before the Void. So I was in Mob Gaming for a while, and they had a squad system. Wasn't quite as like refined as ours, but it was kind of interesting because like you had the captain, and then you had people in the squad, and they'd all get better, and it was a really interesting system. And so we kind of implemented that system, and when we first tried the Void 2, it was a miserable failure. Like it was it was a failure. It just didn't work. And so Plugged and Mireful have both been integral to the process of making the Void 2 what it is today. And there's really just sooner we're going to be celebrating the 10K. Community members in the Void 2. So props to the Void 2 for all the hard work. For those of you who don't know, for those of you who are listening to this on Spotify and Apple Music and Google Music, thevoid.gg has a link to all of our servers, and you guys can check them out yourselves. So let's talk about Jumpman real quick. So Jumpman, haven't really been in the organization that long. I know you kind of deal specifically with the podcast, and I know you were in Volt Squad for a little bit with Mario Kart. Tell us about your experience in the Void.
Yeah, you kind of drafted me as part of a Mario Kart squad in the Void 3. That's where I got started, where I was kind of like a first mate intern for the captain. And then I guess as a close friend of mine, you had me come onto this podcast. And I think I just like to talk a lot, and to the point where friends would be frustrated with me. So you, Muffin, being my closest friend, I guess, provided an outlet for me to just talk and get this knowledge out to the people.
Oh, good. So, by the way, for those of you who don't know, Jumpman, because we had Mofi on for a while, but then Jumpman kind of just, I think he was a little reserved at first, but now it's like, every week Jumpman is always like giving us really, 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 really good insight, and he always has good stories about SAC anime and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of which, how was SAC anime? I'm just curious.
SAC anime is this coming weekend. I haven't gone there yet.
Oh, okay. So then we'll probably talk about that next time.
Probably next week. Yeah.
So I've known Jumpman. Jumpman, when did we meet? 2010?
Yeah. I went in college back in 2010, roughly, or 2009, probably.
No, I was still in high school in 2009.
Oh no,
Wow.
okay, yeah, 2010. Yeah, 2010 would. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Me and Jumpman, we were Magic nerds. We were at the Magic table, playing Magic the Gathering, all that fun stuff.
That's how we met.
Yeah. Wow. And then we've been. Let's see. He's got Zoo's got a hurricane, so Zoo can't join.
Yeah.
So, poor Zoo. So, we have a lot of crazy ambitions here in the Void. But before we kind of get to the crazy ambitions, let's talk to JD. Now, JD, you've really only seen the content creation side of the Void, but kind of, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you've looked around the servers. Kind of, what's your experience with this organization?
So the experience with the organization is basically, I noticed that the community is very big. I didn't realize that you guys are this massive. But other than that, you are correct. I only see the content creation side of the Void. I haven't seen the competitions or the gameplay or anything like that. So I've just been looking around the content side. Yeah.
So we're going to answer some lifelong questions that people have had that they always ask me. And so I'm just going to get those questions out of the way. So number one is, how did the Void get started? Okay. So in 2014, there was I had a podcast called The Giga Talk Show. And Jumpman, I don't know if we only had 5 episodes, but we were doing that. We had Damage Gaming going. Jumpman, you remember those? Like, we had our own building. Jumpman,
I don't remember that.
You don't remember? Jumpman, you literally hosted Rock Band parties.
Oh yes.
You
Yes.
hosted we had like Smash Bros tournaments.
Yes.
So we kind of had that going. And it was kind of fun, actually. Before that, obviously, I was in a bunch of RuneScape clans, and but really, like, the name for the Void, because we were trying to detach ourselves from Damage Gaming. Like, I was talking to my buddy Sam, and he kind of, we all kind of came up with it. Something just kind of generic, that could be. Yeah, that also sounds kind of cool, and so it kind of just stuck. So in 2019, 2019 is kind of when this version of the Void was kind of established. We didn't really have a Discord server. We were actually a cosplay like kind of cosplay conventions type thing, and we wanted to, promote cosplayers and things like that. And naturally, it kind of just shifted into gaming cosplayers and things like that. So in 2021, I think, Team Aqua, they were their leader came to me, and he mentioned that he's got a dead server, and he doesn't have the time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they had about 5,000 people at the time. And he asked if I wanted to buy it, and I said, I'm not really interested. This isn't something that I really like. I'm kind of past this point. You know what I mean? Like Damage Gaming kind of didn't do that well, and Exiled Gaming I was in for a while. I was in a lot of World of Warcraft clans. I'm like, I just don't really want to like be a part of the esports scene anymore. But then Zeno, for those of you who don't know Zeno, he is our growth manager. He kind of convinced me to move forward on the deal, and so yeah, we bought the server, and immediately people just started leaving. People hated us. People hated me. I was the most hated person. They didn't like the changes, and I get it. It'd be like if the Void right now just changed, into something else, without me telling anybody. So I totally get that. But, we got Elijah. Elijah's been with us since the beginning. Skittles, he's no longer with us, but he was with us. And we kind of just, started small. We started with Red Squad, Blue Squad, Yellow Squad. This is back when, like, anyone could be a captain. Like, this is back in the day where if you were just like, I have a controller, boom, you could be a captain, So we've come a long ways, and most of the people left, like a lot of people left the server. So we were pretty discouraged, and it wasn't really until we hit 10,000 members that we there was like a second wind in the sails, and since then we've built an amazing team. Obviously Plugged and Mireful, integral to the process. Plugged was there back in the Blue Squad days. Am I right, Plugged?
Yes, I was back around when Blue Squad was a thing.
And the reason why we got rid of that was so we changed to Battery Squad and Volt Squad and all that fun stuff.
Mhm.
And the reason why we switched is because there was just too much toxic, really unfriendly competition going around in our server. And so we kind of just wanted to make it, have one squad, so to speak, per server. So that seemed to work. And as time kind of grew, we've had so many good people. Hoth, if you're listening right now, Hoth was really amazing. Just with our process. Now, right now we have myself, obviously Plugged, Mireful, Whispers, Hamster, Schnooks, and Zoo, and Zeno, I believe, and actually and Elijah. Yeah, that's our whole management team, and it's not easy, guys. It is not easy by any stretch of the imagination. We've had rival organizations. You'll never be as big as them. You'll never hit 14,000 members. All that fun stuff, and here we are now at 50,000 members, and The thing about 50,000 members is obviously you don't not every single human being is going to be active, right? So by the way, shout out to the staff team for keeping our servers active. Not everyone's going to be active. You have people that come in, they poke their heads in, for a couple days, and then they leave, right? Then you have some people that are going to be active in your organization just 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I would say out of all the organizations that I've been a part of, I've learned the most from the Void. You know what I mean? Like just managing, I've never been like the head of an organization. And so this is kind of interesting. So real quick though, before we continue, I know I've been rambling on. Plugged, what is something that you've learned kind of being a manager? I mean, in the Void, what's something that you've kind of taken away from this experience?
There's only one thing I've probably learned from everyone. It is communication. I feel like communication is one of the biggest keys to success to our organization, because I remember when I was back in Blue Squad and communication was absolutely everywhere, even in the starts of Battery Squad and going up to now. Even still now, our communication still needs work, but it still is 10 billion times better than what it was before. And I don't think that any other organization really goes far without, that simple, step of communication.
100%, man. Myreful, what about you? What is something that you've kind of taken away from this process?
Oh, that's kind of a tough one. It's kind of tough because I feel like kind of I've been everywhere and done about everything, at least when it comes to, running an organization to being in different aspects of it. Because, back when I did own my org, I was more or less doing about everything, stepping into every department and stuff like that. But more or less out of the void, I feel like it's more refined certain skills more so than taught certain skills. But I would definitely say like overall like leadership and like management has improved definitely since I've started.
Yeah, no, 100%, man. I mean, for me personally, um, like it's hard because I think the thing that I've learned the most, or something that I've learned just kind of running this is you have to believe in yourself to some. I know it sounds cheesy, but you have to like believe in your mission, right? Like when we first started, when we first, those early days when there was only one server and like we didn't have like a system and we didn't really know much. Like everyone, not everybody, but a lot of people were just super negative. They were just like, this isn't going to go anywhere, dead server, blah 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 blah. And we still have a long ways to go, right? Like in my opinion, 50K is just the beginning, right? It's just the start. But yeah, you really got to believe in yourself. And if you don't like doing it, then you shouldn't be here, right? Like if you don't enjoy the process of, you're gonna have your days. You're gonna have your days when 3 admirals leave, or something like that. Like you're gonna have your days when there's drama with people, right? And the thing that I've tried to do as a leader is be like, if there's a saying in Pirates of the Caribbean, and that is no cause is lost if there's but one fool to fight for it. Like that's kind of like us here, right? Like if one of us is still like keeping this going, like it's gonna go. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. And so, I don't know. It's really kind of like impressive to see. I don't know. It's just crazy to me. It's like seeing that number 50,000 on Discord. So, moving forward, let's talk about our socials real quick. Let's talk about our social media. Okay, so Plugged, if I may, Plugged, you're part of the content creation team. JD, Myreful, you sit in on the meetings and stuff, and we're kind of, for me personally, I want to use this to usher in a new kind of a mindset, for the Void. Obviously, we want to focus on esports. Obviously, we want to focus on that. But I also want the Void to be something that we can be proud of. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about the merch. They haven't seen the merch. You guys have seen some of the merch. For those of you who want to go look at the merch, thevoid.gg, you can see a lot of the surprises we have going before they even are released. But what do you think about like our mission statement, Plugged? You got to read it last night. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Wow. The mission statement, when I first saw it, I'm like, dang, that does look very, very nice. And I feel like we started that all off with like making a page of information like that about us.
100%, man. And I think like the passion, right? Like, okay, so like for those of you who don't know, for our merch, our new merch line that we're going to be launching, it's going to be similar, a lot of similar designs. You guys seem to love the. I think Myreful is wearing the shirt. If you guys are on YouTube, you can see Myreful wearing the shirt. But the space T-shirt, people love that one. And so we're going to kind of go with like a minimalist design, and we want to go eco-friendly. We want to be ethically sourced, and we don't want it to, like, we want this to be something you can just wear around. Like, we don't want it to be some crazy, flashy T-shirt, or designs. We just want them to be something that, like, you can wear wherever. and it doesn't scream gamer, but there's that gaming flair in it. So we've kind of, we've talked to the people designing our shirts, and we've talked to kind of, what is the mission statement, and it's tough, guys, because like we have to balance like the website, with this kind of the second wind. Plug and I have been working on the website. We want this to be like sustainable, like for us as an organization, but we also want it to be somewhat affordable for people, and I wish we could, I wish the shirts could be cheaper. We've lowered the prices for those of you who don't know. Not by much, but we've lowered the prices to $24.95 for the shirts, and then the hoodies are still $49.95. And so yeah, we're going towards, not just gaming but lifestyle, right? So our three kind of pillars on our website are gaming, lifestyle, and community. So gaming, obviously that's our content creation, with the YouTube channels and things like that, and obviously this podcast, we talk about a lot of gaming stuff and a lot of things like that, but also lifestyle, right? Like I think that people say like that, I don't know, they say that you got to separate your hobbies, and your lifestyle, but it's like your hobbies are part of your lifestyle, you know what I mean? And so I don't know, the brand, we're kind of revamping the brand. So yeah, so real quick though, let me ask you this. Let's ask JD this question. JD, based off what you're seeing, okay, based off of kind of what kind of what you're seeing as someone who's kind of relatively new to the organization, where do you see, like, what would you like to see out of the Void? What would you like to see, maybe even personally, or what would you like to see out of the podcast, or just, I'm just curious to get your thoughts, and I think other people want to get your thoughts too.
I want to see out of the Void is basically the next step I see is that we're going to be one of the top organizations that's well known. So I want us to strive for the Void to basically be on top of like where the rest of the organizations are, like let's say 100 Thieves or Team Liquid and all the other organizations. I want us to be also well known like them. So that is one of the goals that I am putting out there to the Void community and to everybody here, that we as an organization, let's go ahead and strive to be one of the top organizations that is well known.
I think we can do it, honestly. Let's talk to Plugged and Mireful because they're in this arena. So, okay, actually, let's talk about a division that, and this is why I wish Zoo were here, but sorry, Zoo, we're going to talk about the Elite Squad. So, just like the Void 2. The Void 2, when we first started, it was a failure. It fell flat on its face. We gave it a second try. It was successful. The Void 3 is kind of in that same, we're trying to get the Void 3 up and going. Same with the Void 5. So the Void 5, that's our pro division. That's our esports elite squad. And I think a lot of people, and tell me what you guys think about this, Mireful, if you like, because you guys like see this, you guys. But do you think that like a lot of people overestimate their abilities in a lot of these games?
Yeah, I would say, there's a lot of people that come in thinking they are the top of the top, and then they get a very harsh wake-up call pretty quickly. Even in our battery squad, we have a lot of very high-ranking players, and we have a lot of very skilled players. And then they eventually evolve into the Battery Plus, which allows them to get to that competitive level in the Void 5. And, when they're playing against these Battery Plus players, they get a wake-up call pretty quickly. They definitely come in with an ego, and it gets checked pretty quickly. At least in the Void 2 it does. So
That's excellent. Plug, what are your thoughts on what we're talking about?
I 100% agree with Mireful on everything he says. I would also add on top of that, one thing I also noticed for anybody who tries to go up into the esports area of everything, teamwork is one of the things that a lot of people actually lack in the most when it comes down to going to the very top. And most of the games that you play today are mainly team based. I've seen a lot of players in the organization who are the highest skill level you could ever find, ever. But they always lack in this one simple skill, which usually stops them from a lot of their growth.
Yeah, well, and it's like when I was doing Halo, my coach told me that it's like one grenade is the difference between winning and losing. One shot, one kill, right? Oftentimes matches are won and lost between just it's like micro, like little thin pieces of hair. And so he said you got to get every edge you can get, and what he meant by that was you got to eat right, you got to sleep right, you have to make sure that your mind is right, your body's right, so that you can be focused on the game, right? And I mean, even in Hearthstone, I play a lot of Hearthstone, and it's like that's like a 1v1 game, but you almost still need a team. You need someone to, you got reviewing gameplay, and just it kind of becomes your life. You know what I mean? And so a lot of people, they come in, like Myreful was saying, they kind of got an ego. Oh yeah, I'm really good. Like I can do this. Give me money, and then they realize how difficult it really is. And we've had 2 elite squads, and like our philosophy is like we don't just sign people. Like we have levels to our contracts, and we don't just sign people. It's if you can't perform, then you don't get anything. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, if you're a very famous player that has a proven track record, yeah, like you're gonna get cut a much better deal. But we get people. I get people like weekly in my DMs, like, oh, like my brother's like platinum 10 or something or whatever that is. Like can he, can you guys sign him? And I'm like, I've never heard of him. I don't know who he is. Like anyone can just type up like I'm such and such rank, and I guess you can verify it, to some level. But at the top level, once you reach a certain level, everybody's good, right? Like everybody is going to be at the top of their game. So that's why it's been like that's kind of been a challenge for us, for the esports department. But I have some ideas, and I think we can make it. I think we can make it work. And obviously, the Void 2 has been integral to the process. You know what I mean? Like it's been, it allows us to filter those players in to see who's not only like has the skill, but who's willing to stick with it, right? Who's willing to go the distance and do the really tough stuff in their respective games. So, speaking of best people in the world, Jumpman. Mario Kart. Now, Jumpman's more of a. Would you consider yourself a? I don't know. Where do you? You're one of the best Mario Kart players I've ever seen.
I'm pretty good. I'm definitely a veteran Mario Kart player. There are some that are better than me. I will admit that. I mean, that's kind of life. That's kind of life for you. Like, there's always going to be someone better than you.
Just playing with Jumpman. My skill has increased like tenfold. Like you learn stuff. Like when you get your, I'll be nice. When you get beaten into like a pulp, right? Like every game, like you slowly become a little bit better. You slowly start to pick up on little things that the pros pick up, and and then obviously there's your book work, knowing how to drift, knowing, what characters, and what, I mean, so like, it's crazy the meta, right? And that's just Mario Kart, we're not talking about, Valorant and things like that. So it's so much, but that's kind of the thrill of it. I don't know. Like, that's kind of, for me, like, that's kind of what keeps me going is like, okay, so we hit 50K, like, can we hit 100K, right? And then if we hit 100K, like, can we leverage that into other things, right? And it's interesting. It's just really interesting, like kind of logistically what we have going here. And so let me ask you this, Myreful, what is something that's been challenging for you since your time in the Void? What is something that's been like a challenge for you?
Honestly, I would say squads, just as a whole. It's a big challenge. Just because squads is, at the point that it's so big, there's so many different aspects that you need to keep a hold on, right? Like we have Apex, we have Fortnite, we have Valorant, we have Call of Duty, and we used to have an Overwatch team. And then like each of those games have like 2 regions to them. So, we have a lot of different aspects that we're keeping an eye on, and a lot of players. I think we're somewhere up in like the 200 range for players in Battery Squad right now.
Wow, that is
On
incredible.
top of like our 50 or 60 squad leaders that we have. So squads is definitely very big, and it's a very big challenge to keep everyone active and kind of get them to the point that they want to be at.
Yeah, so fun fact, Squads has the most, like most of our management team is dedicated to the Void 2 and Squads. We have obviously Plugged and Mireful, but also Zoo and Schnooks, and Whispers comes in sometimes. So, I mean, it's a massive department. It's very important. Not saying that staff isn't important, not saying that content creation is obviously extremely important. The management department itself is very important. Plug, what about you? What's been something that's kind of been difficult, a challenge that you've had to overcome, or that you're overcoming?
I would say the same thing as Meyer, with handling squads, but on top of that, also trying to help out in content creation, including the website. Trying to improve that constantly and trying to always one up better than before. I think that's one of the hardest things I would always hit when it comes down to trying to create something out of usually thin air, especially when you're very up in the organization.
100%, man. Like when I first, like for me personally, like something that's been kind of difficult is like everyone, this is what I've noticed. Everyone, and I mean like everybody, like staff members, management members, squad leaders, like everybody wants something. And like me being me, like I'm the one who can give them what they want. And so, it's like I'm kind of like bombarded with like, oh, we should do this, or can we do this? Oh, hey, why don't we change the whole server? Like or like stuff like that, And there's so many moving parts to an organization like this. And once you kind of get to this level, like anytime we add something, or anytime we take away something, or anytime we change something, we have to tell all these people, right? And we've had problems in management where one thing wasn't communicated, right? Or like something wasn't communicated properly, or someone didn't understand something, and it creates like a huge dramatic World War III situation. And by the time it gets to me, like the building is burning down. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's really like people think I'm the first to know things. I'm actually usually the last to know things. Like, it's hilarious. Like, Whispers will come to me. He'll be like, "Spacemoth, you didn't hear about this? Like, you didn't hear about, such and such like exploded?" And I'm like, "Oh wow, I had no idea." So I don't know. It's funny, but it's also like it's difficult. A lot of my days are meetings. For those of you who, like staff, members and squad leaders that are like here. Staff, you guys have one meeting. Squad leaders, how many meetings do squad leaders have?
They have 2. So they have the battery meeting, and then they have the squad leaders meeting.
Okay, so for me, this is just me. Okay, I have the management meeting, the content creation meeting. I sometimes I don't even show up to the squad leaders meeting, and then I have the staff meeting. Then we have merger meetings. Then we have business meetings, and then we have people that want to, do sponsorships, and then I have meetings with Hamsters and Whispers. Like my whole life is meetings. Like it's kind of crazy actually. And it's to the point where I put the brakes on, things, and Hamster, she is our Grand Inquisitor. So Hamster's job essentially is to make sure that I don't go crazy. Like that's kind of basically her that's literally it. Like her job is make sure Space Muffin doesn't go crazy. And so and Whispers kind of does a lot of that too. A lot of people Whispers has been really good. Whispers, he just like all of us, no one's perfect, but Whispers does a good job at keeping me in check, right? Because a lot of people they won't voice their real opinions with me, and I think one of my problems that I have is it's like and I've gotten better at this, but it's like sometimes people will come to me with an opinion and they'll expect me to like change, or they'll expect me to take their opinion as gospel, and sometimes I just can't. Like sometimes like I just, or sometimes I don't want to, And so I think I've gotten good at saying no to people, you know what I mean? And it's tough though. It's super tough because I want everyone to be happy, and I think one of the things that separates our organization is the squad system. I don't think any organization, even the big organizations, don't have a squad system like we do. So that's number one. I think that's kind of what sets us apart, but also like our rules and values, right? So let's talk to JD real quick. So JD, we met. Where did we meet? Struggle HQ, right?
2019, summer 2019.
Yeah, so summer 2019, we know our very good friend Derek. He has he's the CEO of Super Vibe, a really great brand. For those of you who don't know, Super Vibe has this isn't even sponsored by them, but they have amazing energy bars. So you should go check them out. But a lot of our rules and our value system, we kind of that like little pamphlet that Derek gave us.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I still have that, and a lot of our rules and values are borrowed from that. And I actually talked to Derek about that. I said, "Hey man, can I borrow some of these?" And so obviously we've refined them over the years. But for those of you who don't know, our 10 core values are: number 1, do the right thing; number 2, be a team player; number 3, helping others; number 4, knowing how to lose; number 5, being understanding; number 6, being humble; number 7, respect; number 8, community; number 9, loyalty; and number 10, positivity. Those are our 10 guiding principles. Obviously we have rules and things like that. Hold on one second, guys.
And number 11, it's okay to be crazy in the void.
We should add that as well. Number 11.
Yes, I agree.
Just a little crazy.
And then obviously we have like our 10 rules as well, which are a little bit more like, and this is what I tell people. They say like, "Oh, but there's not a rule where I can't like spam like, South Park episodes." And it's like, look, we can't make a rule for every single scenario. Okay. And I've talked ad nauseum about this, but like we kind of have general rules and then like kind of use common sense, for the rest. But I don't know. Anyways, kind of what I was saying was our value system, right, is something that we really incorporate. And it's hard, it's hard to be humble. It's hard to be respectful. It's hard to be understanding of others, but it's something that I think has helped shape the culture of the Void. One of our rules that people hate is we have a rule like no profanity.
Oh, I hate that.
And well, I mean, no, it's true. Like a lot of people, they just don't like that rule because I've been into other organizations that have been lax about it. They've been lackadaisical about it. The problem is with the rules. Some rules, like if you give people an inch, they take a mile. You know what I mean? Like you give them just an inch, but the other thing is, and kind of what I talk to like our staff about during like every single meeting is being professional, right? Like one of our number one compliments that we get, it's not how active our server is. It's not how organized our server is. It's how clean our server is. That's one of the number one compliments that I get from people. Like, wow, this is clean. You don't see a lot of people, you don't see staff cussing. You don't see management like being disrespectful towards people. And obviously we're doing something right because, a lot of people stick and we get people that, like Myreful said, we have over 200 plus people in the Void 2, just battery squad, and there's over 5,000 plus people in the Void 2. So fun fact, guys, the Void 2 was started from scratch. Like it was nothing. Like it was literally started from scratch, a brand new server. And it's grown to over 5,000 plus members just in the time that we've had it. And so it's kind of interesting. Like, speaking of growth, like, it's amazing to me, like how much we've grown since we've gone through 3 logos, guys. For those of you who don't know, we have the very very original logo, and then we had our second generation logo, and then obviously the logo that we have now. And for YouTube, right? It's like the same thing. We've kind of like fell flat on our face with YouTube, and then we come back, and we're our content creation team. Obviously, we got the Void Playground. Another thing started from scratch. We just on the YouTube alone, we have 100 plus people. We got people tuning in. For those of you who listen, I'm just curious. Like leave a comment below if you're on YouTube. I want to know who's on YouTube. But I don't know. It's incredible, the growth.
Sorry, I was just seconding that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, like
I want to hear from you guys.
Fun thing is. Fun thing is that Jumpman, like when he joined, I think like we got the dynamic trio, with Jumpman, JD, and Space Muffin.
Yes.
So let's talk these last 20 minutes. Let's talk about the announcements that we are making. So this podcast is not going to get posted on our normal podcast routine. Once the 50K announcement has been made, that's when we're going to post the podcast. So yeah, well, let's go over all the fun stuff that's going to be happening with the Void moving forward. Okay. So number 1, guys, obviously 50K. We're going to have a limited 50K roll that's going to be available in the roll shop starting today. Whenever you guys are listening to this, this is like at this particular moment in time, we have 49,000. So we're about like 300 or 400 members away. Give a little leeway for bots. So we're maybe like 4 or 5, 6 days, maybe a week out from hitting 50K officially. But this podcast, obviously, we're recording ahead of time just because scheduling purposes. So number 1, limited 50K roll. Number 2, we are doing 5 days of giveaways, and the giveaways are going to be massive. Like these aren't going to be little $10 Nitro giveaways. We're talking like $100 gift cards. You can win $50 gift cards. If you're a VIP member, you get double. So whatever you win, you get double. So if you get a $50 gift card, you get $100 instead if you're a VIP member. And guys, you can become a VIP member for as little as $3. Okay, so let's get that going. So 5 days of giveaways. So day number 1, we're just going to be giving away $50 Amazon gift card, and then 5 Discord Nitros. It's going to be the same thing for every day. But for day number 2, you got to be subscribed to the Void YouTube gaming channel in order to win. For day 3, you must be subscribed to the Void Playground YouTube channel to win. For day 4, you got to be following us on TikTok, and day 5, you got to follow us on Twitter. So, guys, we're giving away between $500 to $750 worth of stuff in these next few days. So, I mean, like that's a lot. Get your friends, get your family, get your uncles, anyone who has a Discord that needs to participate in this giveaway, or the 5 days of giveaway. So, and that's just the beginning, guys. So we're going to be doing a VIP revamp. So we're going to be adding 4 new tiers. Or sorry, not 4, 3 new tiers. So number 1 is Void Patron. That's going to be $24.99, and there's going to be a lot of hidden treasures and fun stuff with Void Patron. So stay tuned for that. Number 2 is Stakeholder. Thank you, Meyerful, for helping us come up with that name. So Stakeholder, $49.99 a month, and you're going to get very unique perks and privileges. You're going to have a voice in shaping the organization. And then finally, Executive Member for $99 a month. And that one is exactly what it says. You're going to be able to sit in on a lot of the executive decisions that are made in the organization. Obviously, you're going to get all the benefits. And, we're refining that. And you guys are going to be able to, really help us shape the organization. Really, that's what these are for. We're still going to have our gold, silver, platinum, and imperial memberships for those of you who want to have a more fun experience and just support us. But the more executive memberships, those are going to be for people who want to help shape the void, and help us move forward with that. So for those of you who don't know, like, well, what does my money go towards? What does it go towards? All right. So number one, obviously giveaways. Like, we're literally giving away $750, between $500 to $750 worth of prizes. Thank you for those of you who have been supporting us. I know Mireful and Plugged, I think you guys are VIP members as well. It also goes towards keeping our website alive. It goes towards helping us design merch. It goes towards our bots. It goes towards the security of our server. It goes towards a lot, guys. So thank you so much. And, for those of you who are VIPs, seriously, thank you guys so much. And even people who boost our server, thank you guys. So there's that going on. Okay, but we're not done yet. 50, we kind of touched on this in the beginning. We're getting 50K limited merch, shirts, hoodies, stickers. This merch drop is going to be amazing. That's going to be available as well in the next coming days. Sleek minimalist design, beautifully made, just materials and ethically sourced, eco-friendly, organic, the whole 9 yards. Okay. So $24.99 for the t-shirts, $49.95 for the hoodies. And and then also, so we're getting rid of some of our designs. JD got one of the OG Void shirts. That one, unfortunately, is going to go. And it's going to get replaced with a more sleek design. It's going to be a little more premium. So for those of you who got the OG shirts, you guys are all OGs. For those of you who didn't, hopefully you'll be able to get this in this next drop. So we got that going on. The fifth thing is we're going to be doing a tournament. Elijah's going to be in charge of this. He's got all the details for you, and we're going to go ahead and do a post on that. So a lot of exciting things, guys, coming for the Void. 50K is the starting line, guys. Like, I hopefully everyone who's listening, everyone who's here, once we hit 100K, like there really is no finish line, but our next milestone is 100K, and it's coming sooner than you think, because we have so many resources that we are going to be that we're just going to be taking advantage of, and hopefully you guys in the community, you guys listening, can be a part of this amazing journey, not just on Discord but on YouTube, right? Not just on YouTube, but on Twitter and all of our other socials. And hopefully we got some plans. When we go to conventions and things like that, you guys can meet up with us and talk to us and just be a part of the team. This isn't my organization. This is your organization, guys. So, so congratulations to everybody. Plugged, Mireful, Jumpman, Whisperers, Hamster, Schnooks, all of our community members, Zoo, Zeno, Elijah, everybody. Congratulations.
Yes.
Jumpman. Let's talk about conventions real quick. So you're going to SAC Anime next week.
This Saturday.
We've been talking about, now I've been to SAC Anime, I've been to Anime Expo, and I've been to Fanime. I've also been to BFLC in Reno, Nevada, which is really nice. And usually how these things work, they're kind of cut and paste. The theme is generally different, but the structure is all the same. You have, in the case of SAC Anime, you have voice actors, right, that come to SAC Anime, and you can get signatures, you can meet them, you can get pictures.
Yes.
Is that correct, Jumpman? Okay. The other aspect of it, the little hidden aspect, is you have tournaments. You have a whole gaming side of this element. And it's kind of one of the hidden hotspots to recruit people. Because there's overlap, right? So there's that. Obviously there's gaming tournaments and gaming expos and things like that.
Another possibility is being a vendor as well, where you could actually sell your merchandise at.
That is 100%
That's
true.
another thought.
I know some of the convention. I know some convention organizers at certain conventions, and so I think it'd be really dope if we got the Void like clothing brand so big to where we can get a booth at convention and do good. You know what I mean?
And you can get your very own space muffin.
You can get your So let's talk about like kind of the dream scenario of the Void, if that's okay. Now, Mireful and Plugged have heard this, but I don't know if JD and Jumpman have. So, in a perfect world, the Void has its own space. We're hosting tournaments every week. We have our own bakery/coffee shop for gamers where you can order galactic donuts, you can order cosmic croissants, you can order space muffins,
Exactly.
you can order universal baklava, right? And we have our own fitness
Romulan
center,
item.
right? We have our own, we have spots and places. We have our own little arcade. People can game. This is a multi-million-dollar idea, but it's the dream, guys. The dream is that we're flying from tournament to tournament, from convention to convention. JD and the crew are making convention vlogs, telling us the hot spots to eat, telling us what vendors to buy from, interviewing vendors and really that's kind of the vision for the Void Playground as well, is just kind of doing that. But the idea is we have a multi, gaming organization, lifestyle brand that people can come to. They're welcome. We have positive energy, amazing vibes. We've actually looked into buildings in Los Angeles. It's incredibly expensive here, so but I mean, I don't know. Like, who knows? Like, people didn't think we could hit 50K on Discord, and so anything's possible, in my opinion. But
the Void compound.
Yeah,
We're accepting
we'll have a
prisoners.
Void compound.
No, it's not.
We are accepting prisoners, guys. No, but I mean, I don't know. Okay, here's the thing. Like, I didn't know where this was gonna go. Like, I didn't know where we were gonna go when we kind of first started, and I don't know where we're going. And Plugged and Mireful, you guys know, we're gonna have issues. We have issues every week, right? Like, either with a squad leader, something happens in management, something happens with staff, someone nukes our server. But it's all part of the process, guys. They say without struggle, there's no progress, right? That's what Derek says, and it's true, guys. Like, without struggle, there's no progress, So real quick, Jumpman, I want to get your closing thoughts.
Did you know Charles Martinet is no longer voicing Mario? Yeah.
Really?
They haven't
Who's
announced
voicing
it
Mario?
yet. There's me with Charles Martinet at a convention.
For those of you who are on YouTube, Jumpman is with Charles Martinet. Jumpman is like I said, he's mythic at this point. Like, just I got the voice of Mario, like, no big deal. Like, I have like the cast of Futurama, like signed, like my stuff.
Futurama, Marvel. Yes, that's why I enjoyed the Void Playground. Love talking about stuff I enjoy and informing others.
Yeah. So, JD, closing thoughts.
Closing thoughts. Let's get the Void up in popularity, and let's go reach 100K.
If we reach 100,
True.
Let's see.
if we reach
What were you gonna say,
100K, Muffin will reveal his face to us,
There we go.
and that's
We've been
price.
trying
Let's not put a
to-
price on that.
We've been trying to convince him to reveal his face. So you guys need to get on it.
So, Mireful, closing thoughts.
I'm excited to see that we're rapidly coming up on 50K, and I'm really excited to see what we can do with the Void 2 and the other Void servers.
100%. Plugged.
Ooh. Well, all I can say is that we can only really just hope and pray that nothing breaks during the time of 50K, because anything can happen. Anything can happen.
It's true, guys. Like, our server can get nuked tomorrow, and this podcast will never get released, right?
It's true.
Like,
Yeah.
like It is possible. So someone can hack my account and then just delete the server. Just delete
don't
everything.
let that happen, Muffin.
Yeah, please don't let that happen.
Please don't let
Like
that
I
Are you
said,
really
guys,
Space
yeah,
Muffin?
no.
Oh,
Am I truly? How do we? How
That's
do we know
why you
I'm not
gotta
an
reveal
AI?
us your
Like, you know what I
face.
mean, like, how do we know?
that's true.
But how do we know that that's not
That
an
is
AI?
true.
Like, you know what I
It's
mean?
true.
Like,
That is
Yeah.
scary.
True.
what if the whole time? What if the whole time the void has been being ran
That
by
would
an
be
AI?
crazy.
What if we're all
Just the
not
whole
real?
time. Like, well, that'd be crazy.
Like
What if the only real person is JD? Like, what if he's the only
we're
real
all
person?
a figment of JD's
Imposter.
imagination.
Wait, I'm a robot.
You know, I'm the mastermind behind the void.
Hold up,
It's
hold
all
up.
a scheme. I
This is
started
what
from the
happens when you
beginning.
go into the void.
Yep.
So, guys, this is the Void Playground, and yeah, so this is the Void Playground, guys. We do have to wrap it up. Thevoid.gg, guys. You're gonna find a lot of good stuff there. Visit thevoid.gg. You're gonna find merch. You're gonna find YouTube channels. You're gonna find some really fun goodies there. So stay tuned. Until next time. What's our next podcast? What are we talking about? I know we got to talk about
event,
Apple.
Yes.
Boo. Jumpman.
Let's see. I'm trying to think of. I mean, I got my trip to Sac Anime. I'll be back from that by next week.
Okay, we gotta do that
Oh yeah, let's
one.
talk about Sac Anime.
Yeah.
So,
There's
yeah, so those podcasts might get released
Ahsoka.
before
There's the
this one.
Ahsoka series. I think we were talking about doing that.
Okay, cool. So, Jumpman, we will be talking about Ahsoka. We are this every podcast turns into a Star Wars like kind of like digression. But anyways, you guys all have a great rest of your day, and this is the Void Playground, thevoid.gg.
Bye bye.
Bye.
See you guys.